What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the No Name Podcast. It is your boy Young Rich back again with another episode. Very eventful weekend. A lot of great teams got, made silly. So, it was a great weekend. You saw a lot of pretenders. Some of these dominating teams continue to dominate and prove why they should be contenders. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. First topic of the day, it's got to be talked about. Are the Buffalo Bills in trouble? Listen. They looked dominant against Miami. They had that September run, all right, where they looked good for about 3 weeks. And then ever since then, they just have not looked the same. Coming off back-to-back embarrassing win and embarrassing loss to the New England Patriots. Listen, Josh Allen's out here just not performing, not doing what he's supposed to be doing. And, I heard Nick Wright say it once. It looks like he's trying to be that Josh Allen that we all seen in the AFC Championship game when he played Mahomes. It looks like it's just a big play or nothing, and he just doesn't look like he's okay with just being an average quarterback, and you hear it a lot. When a lot of these guys start to get paid, they start to get their money, you start seeing them trying to make plays and show that they're worth what they just got paid, show that they are who they are and who they said they are and what everyone is saying about them. You see the same thing with Jalen Hurts now. You start seeing him throw more interceptions than last year and making more bad decisions than what he's typically used to. A little bit has to do with the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles got a new OC, but a lot of that has to do with the fact that these guys are trying to show their worth. They are trying to show that they are worth these $50 million contracts. And in Josh Allen's situation, it just keeps backfiring. He just looks way too aggressive and looks like he's just trying to make Patrick Mahomes type throws, and that's clearly not who he is. And I'm not saying he can't be that QB or he can't be that QB if he needs to be, but there's only one QB who can consistently do that, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the only QB who can do stuff like that, make those across the field you're not supposed to, make throws in between double coverage tighter windows that you wouldn't see other QBs make, and that's okay. But the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen, they got to realize that you don't have to be Patrick Mahomes to win every week. You don't. And Patrick Mahomes realized that. You've seen Patrick Mahomes calm it down a little bit and not do too much. They, especially with Kansas City in specific, they started being more, slower pace. They started controlling the tempo, less aggressive once they start getting out in these big leads. But at the end of the day, it's just not a situation you want to be having when this team is Super Bowl or bust. They've said it alone. You've heard them say it. The goal is to get it to the Super Bowl, finally get there and do what it's done. We know their history, going to 4 straight and losing all 4. Okay, so we know the expectations. We know where they're trying to go and what they're trying to do. But Josh Allen is just not doing that. First play of the game, first play on offense, he goes out there, tries to throw a whole shot in the cover 2, intercepted pass, and then right there the tempo of the game just switched. The New England Patriots came out and they got some energy. They said, oh, it's going to be one of those type of Josh Allen days where we're going to get some turnovers, we're going to make some bad throws, and we're going to start making some moves. And then all of a sudden, this New England Patriots team starts playing like New England that we're used to seeing. And then you start seeing them run the ball, control the tempo of the game, control the time, taking time in their possessions, moving the ball, not allowing Buffalo to really get it going. You've seen that through this game. Josh Allen, 27 for 41, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns, 119, 1 fumble. Again, the turnovers is just the biggest problem with him. 2 turnovers is just not something you can have in a situation like this. And, looking like this and with the schedule he's going to have going forward, it's just not a good mix right now. Josh Allen's just got to be okay with being okay. You don't have to be great every single week to do these types of things. Look at Brock Purdy. Obviously, the last 2 weeks for Brock Purdy has not been good. Okay, you could say whatever you want to say about him, but he's okay with making the okay throws and not looking spectacular, but it results in wins. Okay, they're 5-2 right now. It results in wins, and that's the bottom line. And Josh Allen clearly has not got it through his head that he needs to just be okay sometimes. He just looks like he's trying to be Patrick Mahomes 2.0, and it clearly is not his style of play. He's not capable of doing that every week. And it's okay. Nobody's expecting you to be Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is 1 of 1. The things he can do is 1 of 1. All right? Just like Tom Brady's ability to come back in clutch time. There's not many people that can do that, and it's okay. You may be worth all this money, but you have to play less aggressive, and just understand some games you're not going to have all these big time flashy plays. Sometimes you're going to check the ball down 15 times, but you're going to win the game. You're going to go out there, you're going to play some good football, you're going to take 15 plays to go on the drive and score, but it's better than having something like this where you get too aggressive, you try to, and then you see the same situation with against the Giants. He has both INTs were just him trying to force something that he just couldn't get enough on, and there's not many people that can make those throws, and it's not those type of throws that you want to see your quarterback making every single play. And when you see him out here extending plays with his feet, it just looks, he doesn't want to take any check downs, anything underneath. It just looks like it's a hit or miss. It's gonna be a home run or he's striking out, and that's exactly what you're seeing. And if I'm the Buffalo Bills fan base, I'm concerned. Because listen, you just lost not a must-win game, but a very favorable matchup against New England. We've all know how New England is. They just picked up a second win this weekend, okay? But you giving a team like that momentum and energy to come out there and upset you is not something you want to see. The Bills' next 8 games, they play at home versus Tampa. Then they go on the road, play Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, who we think is getting back to that Joe Burrow that we all know and love. Then you go play against Denver, at home against Denver. You play at home against the Jets, a team who made you look silly week 1. You had 4 turnovers in that game. So is it a walk in the park? No, not even close. Sauce Gardner's going to get healthy. He's going to come back. All right, Zach Wilson, we don't know how that's going to go, but clearly he did enough week 1 to get it done. Okay, and he's been playing better, so you don't know how that game's going to go. Then you got to play at Philly. Then you got to play on the road again at Kansas City. Then you play at home versus Dallas. Then you got to end off this little stretch, 8-game stretch, you play in Los Angeles against the Chargers. The Chargers are not a scary team, but they are a team who's capable of putting up some upsets if they can go out there and score, points. And that offense gets going early. But listen, that's 8 games. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Dallas, Cincinnati, and the Jets are all 5 games that you could possibly look at and just say, yo, these are not guaranteed wins. These are not walk in the parks. These are going to be tough games that you have to win. And the way they've been looking, it does not look like it's going to be in their favor. And if they go out here and lose 4 out of these next 8, that could be a 7-loss team, 8-loss team, depending on how it goes. And if Josh Allen continues to have one good half of football, it's not going to lead to much results. It's not going to lead to a lot of wins, okay? Somebody's got to get in his ear and tell him, yo, it's okay. Hit the check down. It's okay. Get the ball out in 3 seconds. Boom. It just seems like he's playing all off improvising. Why am I stuttering right now? I don't know. But you get what I'm saying, all right? Okay. Again, this is supposed to be a team they already put up the talk. They've already posted about it. They said their goal is a Super Bowl. And now you get put in a situation where we don't even know if you're guaranteed to win your division with the way Miami's playing. Yes, Buffalo had their number 1, but Miami could still pull off some wins and, make a run for this division title. Are the Miami Dolphins overrated? Have they done nothing but disappoint us? Yes. You start off the year hearing this Tua MVP conversation. It kind of gets played out. People say he's just a system-type quarterback. He's just not someone who's a great quarterback. He's not going to win on big games, and they've been proved exactly that. 2 times this year so far. Getting absolutely slammed by the Buffalo Bills. That was one game. All right, division opponent. You have a time to bounce back and really impress. And again, you go out here against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are supposed to be the team to win out in the NFC and make it back to the Super Bowl. Between them and San Francisco, those are the 2 teams. Those 1 and 2 right there. You get a chance to go out here and play one of the best teams in football and prove that you can compete with the best. And then you go out here and just absolutely disappoint. Tua, 23 for 32, 216 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, 45 rushing yards as a team. This had a lot to do with the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles just bullied this team throughout the entire night. Time of possession was 36 minutes, 43 seconds to the Philadelphia Eagles compared to 23 minutes and 17 seconds for the Miami Dolphins. And, you see this quote-unquote San Francisco style type offense that McDaniels has been trying to do, and you start seeing him call up some nice plays, do some nice things, and you just start seeing the similarities from his time being with Kyle Shanahan. And then, you start giving him a little bit of credit, and I still think he is a great play caller, but I just do believe that they just don't have enough hard-nosed football players to really compete with some of these teams. I mean, you've seen it yesterday. They were just getting dominated up front. No ability, no room to rush the ball. They were ineffective running the ball, ineffective passing the ball, and they just have so many finesse speed guys that it just doesn't really cook up for success in a team like this. I mean, when you're that fast, you really have to play where it's, throw some little short screens, throw some underneath stuff, especially with how elusive this Philadelphia pass rush is. I mean, listen, this Philadelphia pass rush, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Brandon Ingram. That's 6-7 people who can get after the quarterback effectively. They have so many people that the people who get in on rotation are going to cause just as much havoc as the starters, if not more on some nights. So when you are playing a team like this, you have to be able to use your speed to your advantage, and that's not what you've seen last night. I mean, it just looked like they were just trying to throw the tops off people, this time, and it was just not the case. I mean, Tua was under duress the entire night. He did not look like himself. He was not making throws typically as you see him before. Yes, there were some penalties that costed Miami on offense and on defense. I mean, Tyreek Hill had a touchdown that got called back due to a holding penalty, and yes, they do have some injury. They are missing that whole left side of their O-line. Okay, so yes, you're going to see this pressure get to them a little bit more with the injuries that they do have. And so, you're hoping for them to get healthy. You're hoping for them to get Jalen Ramsey. But listen, this team is just not as great as they talk about it, all right? And nobody ever seen them as a Super Bowl contender or winning in the West or making it to the AFC Championship in that matter. But they do talk a lot of talk. They hype themselves up. They put up these great numbers against terrible teams. I mean, other than that historical 70-point performance against the Denver Broncos, you haven't really heard them do nothing. Tyreek Hill is going to be Tyreek Hill. That is 100% undoubt, right? Tyreek Hill is going to get his when the opportunity is given. That's exactly what he did on Sunday. You see him, you see him get used like this. Again, his numbers could have been even more monster. Like I said, touchdown got called back due to a holding call in the red zone. And then you had another drop pass that could have resulted into another touchdown. So, there was definitely points left on the board that you would like to see, that those plays happen, because in big games like this, you can't have opportunities like that to mess up and make mistakes like that, which is exactly what they did. But, this whole Tua MVP conversation just has to stop. You've seen it last year. He started off so hot, started putting up these great numbers. He had these great weapons around him. And then, you start seeing him play better teams where they start taking away his first, second read. And then you start seeing Tua have to go through progressions. And then he just does not look the same. If Tua's not getting rid of the ball in 3 seconds, as soon as that back foot hits, and if he's not throwing the ball, on his first one or two reads, then it's just not looking good for Tua Tagovailoa. He just cannot get through his reads quick enough, and that's one of the things that someone like Brock Purdy can do. Tua definitely has a stronger arm, and it's just a more talented QB, but Brock Purdy is one of those guys who he just knows how to go through his progressions and go 1, 2, 3, 2, 4 if it really has to go that way. Okay, for the most part, Brock Purdy doesn't have to, but if they take away 1 and 2, he could definitely go through and hit 3 and 4. And I'm not comparing the two, but I'm just showing how important it is to have that, in back of your head, to know you have to go through your progressions and make reads sometimes. Defenses are going to take things away. Tyreek Hill is going to get a lot of attention, so you still have to go through progressions and go through different players and hit different players. Losing Jalen Waddle for a little bit of the game probably did, was a factor as well. Having 2 speedsters is obviously better than just having one. Once you get rid of one of those speedsters, obviously it's easier to just start doubling Tyreek Hill and keeping his safety at the top and just following him wherever he goes. But, overall, this team was supposed to have a lot of hype. This team was supposed to be better than what it is, and it has not put out. And it's been disappointing to watch them play these big teams. It really has. But, a big shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. Like I said, they got this young pass rush who's really going. They are just 6-7 players deep who can get after the quarterback effectively and constantly. But again, we got to show some love to A.J. Brown here. 10 receptions, 137 yards, 1 touchdown. He's really putting on a case for him being, a very underrated top 8, top 5 wide receiver this year. And we've heard this type of, comparisons sometimes when he has moments like this, but this year is definitely put on and is trying to prove a point this year that he's worth that money, and he is who he says he is. I mean, he's second in receiving yards, fourth in receptions, second in 20-plus yard receptions, and fifth in yak yards. I mean, it's just great to see. And then you start seeing Devontae Smith really get out here and start making plays consistently, and he just looks so much better this year. He gets another year under his belt. He got to that Super Bowl. He got to the playoffs the year before, and now he finally starts developing as a receiver. And then when you have Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift making catches out the backfield, running the ball effectively, it's just a scary offense. I mean, Jalen Hurts, again, he did have one fumble early in the game. He did have an INT, 279, 2 touchdowns. So he didn't look great, but he made the throws when needed. And I mean, at the end of the day, this all leads to time of possession. I mean, having the ball for 36 minutes of a game compared to someone having the ball for 23 minutes is everything. That's almost a whole quarter you didn't have the football, which is not something you want to do. I mean, 4 for 4 on fourth downs with the tush push, who you've heard some stuff talking about they're going to ban it, they're going to get rid of the tush push, but I don't really think that should happen. I mean, listen, Nick Sirianni said it himself, if everybody could do it, they would. Why are we the only team that can do it successfully, consistently? I mean, that's just it. They practice this stuff. They got it into it. And, so we will see how it goes forward. Should the NFL ban something like this? I think not. I think if they were going to ban anything else, they should definitely ban that. The movement the offensive tackle gets by, that's been debatable all season long. And for people who watch football, you know what I'm talking about. That gives the advantage to the offensive tackle. Something like that should be more on the priority list if you're going to talk about banning or getting people in trouble for doing it. But I mean, this team again has just proved that they are the truth. And again, it all comes down to Jalen Hurts taking care of the ball. Another guy, like I said, with Josh Allen, who he wanted to prove he's worth his money. He's starting to get out here and be more aggressive and make some plays he wouldn't typically make. Okay, but if this team wants to go back to the Super Bowl, if they want another chance at Patrick Mahomes, they're going to have to really take care of the ball, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to play better. Just taking care of the ball. If you take out these 2 turnovers, it's good football. It's good numbers. Okay, but you have to do it at the end of the day. And if you just go out here, you know what I'm saying. And there's a lot of hate on his head right now. A lot of people saying he isn't as good as we all think he is just because of that one Super Bowl performance where he had his best game of his career. All right. So again, we will see how this going forward. But I think the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa are majorly overrated. Are the Baltimore Ravens for real? I mean, listen, they were favorites in this game. They were playing at home. Lamar Jackson is, I believe, 20-something and 6 at home in his career since he's been a starter, which is just something you like to see. We know how important home field advantage is for a team like that. 3.5-point favorites against the 5-1 Detroit Lions, who was a great team, who hadn't played a bad game in a year. And they go out here. I mean, Lamar Jackson gets it going early. They get out 28-0 just like that right before half. I mean, offense was just explosive. Everything was clicking. Lamar Jackson was through for 357 yards, 21 for 27, 3 touchdowns, 1 on the ground. He did have 1 fumble technically, but it was a fumbled snap, so we're not really going to look on him like that. But I mean, listen, Lamar Jackson has just made so many impressive plays with his feet and his ability to just, extend plays in the pocket. And the one difference between his game now and before is instead of him using his feet to run the ball and go out there and try to do it all on his own and with his feet, he's now looking to throw the ball downfield when he gets extra time in the pocket, or when he runs out the pocket and he's running for his life. He makes a man miss, and the next thing you know, boom, he's throwing a dot down the middle of the goal line to Nelson Aguilar. Okay, I mean this Baltimore Ravens team was just looking like the Baltimore Ravens. They were running the ball well. 503 total yards, 146 rush yards as a team. Gus Edwards is having himself a good day. They had 5 sacks, 1 INT against Jared Goff, who's just played good football. He hasn't made any bad decisions, and this week was the complete opposite. Obviously, them being behind so early, they had to switch it up and they had to just go straight to trying to throw the ball and make plays, going for a lot of fourth downs that most teams wouldn't have that early, but they had to because they had no sense offense. I mean, this was just an absolute blowout. Hands down, one of the best wins of the season. I think this definitely takes a step over the 49ers over the win over the Cowboys, because this was just dominant. I mean, 38-6 they scored in the last 6 minutes of that game, and that Baltimore Ravens offense wasn't even trying to score. I mean, it was from the beginning to the end. The Baltimore Ravens had their number. They were swarming. You had Sewell finally start having problems. He had a couple big holding penalties that took away a big plays, but I mean, this pass rush was getting after him. And you heard a lot of questions about this defense, if they were legit. They weren't really playing great teams, and how good were they really? And now you go against a top 10 offense, and with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, who's having himself a good year, Laporta, who's been getting some conversations for offensive rookie of the year. We don't think he's going to win it, but he's still getting those talks because of how great he's played as a rookie tight end. But it's just great to see. You had a lot of these questions. You wondered what's going on. And if this team is going to be legit. You've seen struggles in this past game this season so far, and Lamar Jackson switching to a more pass-friendly offense and how that was going to fit, and this new OC, what the new style of offense, how it's going to play out. And finally, you just seen it click. Yes, a lot of these plays were because of Lamar Jackson using his feet, but again, his ability to make people miss and extend plays, and not to just bail out and use his feet and run and look for those red zone touchdowns, which he got this weekend because of his ability to extend his plays and use his feet, getting outside the pocket and then comes back the other way, boom, boom, boom. You've seen it multiple times. But I mean, overall, Jim Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson, they said they needed to be better. They said they weren't at their best form. Even after the game today, they still said they're happy with where they're going, but they're not satisfied with how they are now. They still got a lot to improve on, a lot to grow, and build this chemistry with this new style of offense. And I got to give a big shout out to Zay Flowers. 4 receptions, 75 yards. He has not had a game where he has been absolutely stunning, like a 120-yard performance type thing like that. But I mean, it's just been very, very consistent. You can rely on him to catch the ball and make plays when you need him to, and that's exactly what he's doing. Every time he touches the ball, it's just important, crucial plays in the game that play out. I mean, this team can really be a top 3 seed in the AFC, top 2 maybe, depending on how things play out. This AFC playoff contention is definitely going to be interesting going forward. Again, this is a dark horse. Not a lot of teams thought the Baltimore Ravens were even going to make the, even compete in the playoffs. Obviously, again, we know how the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, their playoff success has not been great. So we still like to see some things. Okay, so this will definitely be interesting going forward. But let's all not forget the fact that they were one bad fumbled goal line jump from taking out the Cincinnati Bengals last year. All right, Tyler Huntley obviously got caught trying to jump over the pile. Ball popped out, and then Henderson takes it. Henderson takes it all the way back for like 101-yard or 99-yard fumble recovery touchdown. So we know how good this team can be. We know where their weaknesses are, and so far they've just looked great against a team, the Detroit Lions, who, like I said, have not played a bad game in a year. They've been consistently competing in all these games since their 1-6 start last year. So this is a very, very big win for the Baltimore Ravens. But I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed. Let me know what else you'd like to see. Basketball started tonight. My Lakers unfortunately lost. I will get some basketball recap starting tomorrow. Let me know what y'all would like to see on the channel. And see you.